the Convention for the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide is more than a legal precedent. It is fundamentally about morality. Genocide is the denial of the right to exist of entire human groups, as homicide is the denial of the right to exist of individual human beings. Plinia also suggested that more is at stake in this war than the future of Gaza. The very reputation of international law hangs in the balance. In its ruling of January 2024, the ICJ found that there was a plausible risk of genocide in Gaza, and it ordered Israel to take a list of provisional measures to prevent genocide. Israel completely ignored the orders of the court. I must confess that I hesitated to use the word genocide in the title of my book. It seemed almost perverse to accuse a state of the Jews of committing genocide when it was the Jews who were the principal victims of the Nazi Holocaust. A couple of years ago, I published a book, an autobiography, under the title 3 Words, Memoirs of an Arab Jew, which is highly critical of Zionism and its attitude to the Jews of the East, to Arab Jews like myself, and like Rachel Shabi, who was here before. And I wrote that for all its sins, Israel has not been guilty of genocide. But the facts have changed, and therefore I have changed my opinion. The visual evidence about genocide is compelling. We see it every night, live streamed on our television screens. Another thing that is unusual about this genocide is that normally people who commit genocide try and conceal it, whereas in the case of Israel, the rhetorical evidence for genocide is overwhelming. And it's not just marginal groups or marginal individuals, it's the Israeli political elite, from the president to the prime minister, and a lot of politicians who openly declare the intention to destroy the people in Gaza, to make Gaza uninhabitable. I won't give you many examples, but there are endless examples of genocidal rhetoric in my book. I'll just mention one famous example of former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, who said that Hamas are human animals. Now, history tells us that dehumanizing the enemy is, and I should say that Israelis dehumanize not just Hamas, but the entire Palestinian people. And history tells us that dehumanizing a whole people paves the way to genocide. So, is Israel actually committing genocide in Gaza? Let me start with the definition of the 1948 Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide. It defines genocide as the intent to destroy, in whole or in part, a national, ethnical, or religious group as such. The following acts constitute genocide. 1. Killing members of the group. 2. Causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group. 3. Deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part. 4. Imposing measures intended to prevent birth within the group. And 5th, forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. In its assault on the people of Gaza, and I emphasize that the assault is not just on Hamas, but it's on the entire people of Gaza, the IDF abundantly meets the first four criteria. It has killed over 56,000 people in Gaza, 70% of whom are women and children. It has destroyed 70 to 80% of the houses and the civilian infrastructure. It has inflicted unbearable suffering on the population. It has displaced 90% of the 2.3 million people in Gaza, sometimes upwards of 10 times, and very often when Gazans obey the IDF instructions to move away from their houses, they get bombed and attacked and have their tents set on fire. Israel also uses, I should add, that the forcible displacement of civilians is a war crime. Israel also uses starvation as a weapon of war. So Israel has been committing these war crimes on a daily basis for the last 20 months. Israel has destroyed or damaged 31 out of the 36 hospitals in Gaza.